I discovered the most insane knit-like crochet stitch, and I instantly knew I needed to make a sweater out of it. It's already really bouncy. I wish you could all just reach through the camera and feel this. But this knit-like stitch had an Achilles heel, leaving me with a seemingly infinite amount of yarn ends until a trip to the Austrian Alps inspired a stroke of genius that allowed me to need to hide exactly 0 yarn ends. So we're making a sweater, and not just any sweater, the chunkiest, coziest, fall into a cloud sweater. Okay, we're committing right now. It's going to be a zip up. That's our design. Or at least it was until a few more things proved necessary. We're going to use 2 Leigh yarns that are really super chunky. First, we're going to start with the collar because it's easy. One of the hallmarks of this ribbing is that you actually use a really chunky yarn and a chunky hook to create something that doesn't look that big. We really have to cut our yarn every time we get to an end. I did a bunch of swatches, but one of the things I was trying to do was to not have to cut your yarn, and there's really no way around it. So I'm just gonna keep going. The collar is done and it's super chunky. I basically wanted it to be able to close without needing to use any of that super lovely stretch, but I ran out of this yarn. I only had 2 skeins of this color, so now I have switched to another color here, and I really don't mind the way it looks on this second side. I have started on this front body piece. I did leave a nice opening for my pocket. This is gonna have pockets.
Yeah.
I'm like, There's no excuse for me to not have counted when I did this. That's how we got to here, where we have our sides with our pockets and this gaping hole. I'm not sure what to do with it. Should I just completely maybe redo this panel? Usually you can just frog it, right? But because you cut all of these, that would be less than ideal. But maybe that's what I have to do. But I did it anyway, and then got to work remaking the rest of the front, but counting my stitches this time. I said that this stitch was luscious, but here's the real test. Anytime I put it down, it gets stolen. We have gotten to like our little neck hole. We have our sleeve arm site there. Yeah, it's looking really good. I am making this without a pattern. I do have a reference. The reference I'm kind of basing it off of is this zip up that I made, but you can see it's not exactly following it to a T. It's way shorter down here, and this is a really sloped shoulder versus this is getting a very square treatment to it. We're at the stage where we can give this a little pin and see how it might look. Yeah, I actually really like how that's looking. And even though the underside of these are actually 2 different colors, I was feeling good about my progress. I happen to be going to the mountains this weekend. It's a trip that we've had planned for a while, and I was like, oh, wouldn't this be perfect and just so lovely to wear? Last night I stopped literally 2 rows before finishing the back, so today we're gonna finish it so that we can join everything together. This is definitely the most exciting part of the design process, where I have to count my stitches to make sure that I'm ending evenly, since we know this was a problem with the front. And yay, we are done. I wish you could all just reach through the camera and feel this. Well, you'll clearly have to try making it yourself, but just the texture and the feeling, oh, it's so good. It's looking a little bit boxy, but that's okay. We don't have, you know, the sides brought in yet. My plan of attack here. First attach the body pieces together, which is the proper way to do it in garment making, and then attach the collar before we jump into attaching the zipper. Stitch markers are definitely our friends as we go into this to make sure everything is lined up. Probably just slip stitch through, nothing too fancy. If the name of my YouTube channel and my crochet community is any indicator, I'm not one to shy away from experimentation. And really, I feel like that's what half of the design process ends up being. Trying something, seeing if it works, and if it doesn't, trying something else until you get it right. Now we have like a really clean side seam on one side. Now I'll do the other. Second shoulder seam is done, and yeah, they're both looking great. I'll show you from the other side. It's giving it a little bit more structure. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with all of my ends. We can try it on really quick. See that my hands go naturally where the pockets are. On goes the collar. Back to our bestie slip stitch we go. To keep with our Fruity Pebbles theme here, I think I'm gonna want a blue zipper. This one's definitely too short. I think this one's gonna be perfect. I'd rather it be a little bit too long because you notice the zip itself doesn't come all the way up. And especially since I have a fold over collar here, it's really gonna hide it nicely. Just to double check, a couple more colors. No, I hate pink. I'm not gonna do pink. Every time I try this thing on, I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in it, but zipper time. Just do a slip stitch through there. Magic of this is you can see the edge of the zipper here. We've now completely enclosed that side of the zipper, so when I turn it inside out, you have a completely enclosed zipper. The zipper ended up being fully installed prior to leaving for our alpine adventure, but that confronted me with the first puzzle to solve, those pesky ends. The solution ended up being to fold over the collar and tuck in the ends as I was joining it together. By the time we got to our hotel, the collar was finished. The pullover could do its first true zip up. And then we were off to watch cars race on ice, which basically was just a lot of, well, this.
Anti-lag flames if you're lucky the cars lift your...
On the way back home, I had my second realization as I tackled the waistband. It turns out I didn't have to cut the ends if I did the ribbing in around. Yes, that also made the ribbing horizontal, but if I took that horizontal ribbed hem and then folded it over, it hid all of the ends in my garment. It felt like finding a secret passageway that led directly to a beautifully clean, finished piece without having to deal with any yarn ends. Let's get like a good look at this zipper though. We started down here and it's not gonna come apart even though this zipper can separate. Right here and right here are not actually the inside of the garments. They're another layer of facing because otherwise you would see raw zipper there. Let me show you what that facing looks like. So if I just put this on inside out. In crochet, we'll think about weaving in ends, but when you're making a garment that has a bunch of seams, we'll often have a facing if they don't have a lining, which is just an extra little piece that encloses the seam. Here is the outer edge of my zipper tape. And then what I did is it's just joined evenly to this kind of rectangular chunk that I connected down here. It just makes sure that the zipper isn't against my skin. Everything is fully enclosed. I returned home to a restock of yarn, which was much needed because it was time to start the very yarn intensive sleeves. Got to about the sleeve head and realized that I had just been doing all of these horizontal rows and the sleeve was going to be a lot wider than I wanted it to be. I started to do some shorter rows to create some shaping and start pulling that in. It worked well. I did it in the center and then on the one side of the sleeve so that when it's joined together, that one side is cinched in. The biggest challenge is absolutely trying to get these even, which means I'm constantly having to kind of like move stitch markers to make sure that I don't miss those decreases. I could have, of course, just written this down and started following that like a pattern. Could I be making my life easier? Yes. Am I making my life easier? Definitely not. It still looks good, and that's what matters. So both sleeves are complete and looking really even, so I'm feeling good about that. When I had posted a tutorial on how to do this particular yarn over slip stitch, a lot of people had questions about the first row and how you started the stitch. I was questioning whether you actually needed to do it the way that I had come across, and I found that you actually don't. This one's much better for garment making and seaming. So the original way is a very 3D shape here that's really chunky. But when I was actually having to deal with using this as a seam, it added a lot of bulk. On the sides here, you have one of these really chunky cubic guys getting joined to an otherwise pretty even stitch. What I was testing out and what ended up working really well, you start with just a regular chain, and then you start with your alternate color in the front loop of your work and just begin with that yarn over slip stitch, and then you can just start adding your other color and doing it back and forth. What you get is two edges that don't have extra weight to them. It blends in perfectly. The last thing we want is extra bulk on a seam. We are so close to being done today. Let me take off this skirt that I'm wearing as a top really quickly and show you. Last night I got one of the cuffs done, tried it on. I think it's gonna need a little bit of lengthening. It's so cozy. I almost don't like trying this on because it takes like all of the willpower I do not have to be able to take it back off and keep working on it. So here, get a full length. We have the zipper fully attached, facing. This is great. Every time my husband puts it on, he zips it up and goes like this because you feel like you're just in a cloud or something. We attached the sleeves last night. I'm doing the cuffs the opposite direction of ribbing because having to cut the yarn every single row is like one of our biggest annoyances with this stitch, right? And I found when I was doing the collar that if I could fold it over, I could actually enclose all of the edges in there. And when I was doing the hem, the waistband, I realized that I could not have to clip the yarn if I do it in a round. So this is just crocheted in around outwards and then folded over and then attached, and look at that. It looks super clean and there's no edges. We have our shaping we were looking at earlier here on the sleeve. I think just from like a aesthetic standpoint, it looks a little bit too chunky like this. So we're gonna extend it a bit and do the other one on this side. And then we're done, right? Not quite. The last like structural things, pocket holes without a pocket. Waistband hasn't been fully closed. Cuffs, it's looking so good. I just did a slip stitch to tie it off, so it'll be really easy to get it back out and lengthen it. Last round done. Fold it over and then just start lining it up with a little slip stitch here. Okay, so all of our yarn ends are now inside of here. The cuff's a little bit longer. It's not quite a square at the end, so that finishes it off nicely. Time to do the other side, yeah, because that's pretty darn perfect. As we do more rounds of it, extending down the cuff it will effectively bring it in, but in a stretchy way. Once the sleeves are attached, the project becomes more cumbersome to work on and less portable. Luckily, we only have a few details left to finish. Okay, cuffs are done. It looks really good. So you can tell that the two like background colors are different. Obligatory every time I try it on. I did work on the bottom hem a little bit. Oh, that looks so cute. Wait, do we need a revert? Okay, let's reverse this. Hold on. Is it terrible to say that I actually don't mind this inside out? This part looks a little bit weird, but I also don't hate it. I mean, this is very much like the maximalist in me coming out, that I'm like, oh, rainbow colored, covered in fringe. I don't hate it. We do need a pocket. Right now I'm just sticking my hands in a hole, which honestly is kind of warm because it's inside the sweater, but it's not really practical. I'm putting the finishing touches on this. It looks like I'm doing like a welted pocket, but I'm not, but I extended this out. And the reason why I did that, you can actually see on this other side. I've been using these without anything in it for a while, and it's putting a lot of tension right at the top of that seam because I just left a hole for the pocket. And so the way I solved that, I crocheted off of this and then folded it over, but it creates a really strong opening, and it's gonna look nice because it looks like almost like a pocket on a jacket, and then I can actually have a nice sturdy pocket. So I'm just replicating that on the other side after kind of just like freehanding it last night. Fruity Pebble sweater is finally done. I mean, I've been saying this throughout the entire process, but it really is one of those pieces where I'm just so delighted with how it turned out. Having the reinforced pockets is really nice so that there's no tension there. They look really clean. You can stick your hands in and just be super comfy. The sleeves look fantastic. Yeah, this is a really, really awesome piece. What's better than weaving in all of your ends? Covering them up. The shoulders actually have reinforcing pieces that, yes, cover up all those yarn ends, but then they also give a little bit more stability to the shoulder because it does hold a decent amount of weight. If you are in love with this sweater and want to make your own, make sure you share this with a friend. Get cozy dreaminess that is this Fruity Pebble sweater. Curious about some of the techniques I use in this, the stitch or the zipper installation, there's videos already for that. I'm Leigh, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I mean, tell me you don't want to like live in this sweater, because I do.